Boy Sopranos took an already great film trilogy and elevated it to a legendary one. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, directed by Peter Jackson, is one of the most successful film franchises of all time. And music,
Can you sing, Master Hobbit?
plays an absolutely essential role in that success. And we have Howard Shore to thank for that. He was able to bring us straight to Middle Earth through sublime theme writing and just epic orchestration.
To the edge of night.
And one of the ways he allows us to delve deeper into the emotion and into the story is through the boy soprano voice, also known as the treble voice. In Dreams is certainly a Lord of the Rings classic, as it features a few different themes, including the Shire theme. And through it, we stumble upon our first key word, nostalgia.
That is sung during the closing credits of the film, In Dreams it's called. She helped Howard direct the boys' choir. It was a London school choir with a wonderful young boy.
Edward Ross, he's probably about 12 years old. He represented the boys, and it was a boy soloist for the choir.
That song was recorded in the number 2 studio at Abbey Road, which is where the Beatles did all their recording. And as a huge Beatle fan, I was incredibly thrilled to be there, find myself there recording a song for our movie.
I mean, this pure, innocent, beautiful voice. Big shout out to Edward Ross for crushing that solo. So I think the main reason that a boys' choir was chosen to sing this song is because they have a beautiful sound. And Edward Ross was chosen to sing this solo because he has a beautiful voice. But a small part of it is nostalgia. The boy soprano voice, that beautiful, pure tone, brings us back to a simpler time when we were younger, when things were easier, almost calling us home in a way. And that, my friends, is one of the key elements in the story of The Lord of the Rings, is wanting to go home.
Do you remember the Shire, Mr. Frodo?
If you don't know the story of The Lord of the Rings, first of all, I recommend you read the books and or watch the movies. But there are two main hobbits, Frodo and Sam, and they're on this quest to destroy the One Ring. And throughout the story, they're always thinking about home, which for them is called the Shire. The Shire is a beautiful, peaceful place, and Howard Shore uses this theme. And variations of it to evoke that feeling of wanting to go home. It's home in the sense of a physical place, and it's home in the sense of where your heart is. A beautiful, clean tone, a simple melody, those two things come together and it's just sublime. And another important element of the boy soprano voice, it doesn't have a lot of weight. If I were to sing this one, da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da dum da da dum, it doesn't work, right? Even if someone sings it very, very well, it needs that light, pure sound. And more mature voices just don't give us that feeling of simplicity and nostalgia in the same way that a treble voice does. Continuing on this theme of the pure soprano voice, a major player in the Lord of the Rings trilogy and all of the books that Tolkien wrote was this idea of the dark shadow versus the bright white light. And this idea is demonstrated perfectly in The Return of the King. In The Return of the King, the valiant men of Gondor are being attacked by the ring wraiths on their Nazgul steeds. And the Nazgul are these terrible dragon-like things, and the ring wraiths are hooded, they're almost like Dementors.
Was the Dementors!
And Gandalf the White comes to save the day with this unbelievable beacon of light from his staff. And I want you to hear how Howard Shore scored this scene. It's just perfect. So you can see how it's just darkness, it's carnage, it's awful, and here comes Gandalf the White with his white steed, his white staff. It's just, here we go. So he's using the light to drive these monsters away. And what does Howard Shore do? Is he brings us that boy soprano sound, that piercing sound to represent the light. As soon as Gandalf turns that staff on, the boy sopranos kick in. So it's an immediate representation musically of that beam of light, that pure sound, and absolute beauty. And you can even see from this shot, one half is darkness and cloud and shadow, and the other side is light and bright and hopeful. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but the range of this piece is higher than in Dream. So what does that do? When the boy soprano is singing higher, in this case, it's Ben del Maestro who's singing this one. The range is higher, so the sound is a bit more piercing. And I mean piercing in a good way. It's just able to cut through that texture, much like Gandalf wants to do when he's showing that staff, that beacon of light. He wants to pierce those stormy, dark clouds. And with this higher range, the voice is able to cut through as well. And you just think, if a baritone sang this, or if a dramatic soprano or a high tenor or somebody sang this, would it have the same effect? I think the boy soprano sound is the perfect choice for this. So Gandalf, Mithrandir, represents hope in the face of darkness and despair. He's this beacon of light. And the idea and the theme of a bright light comes through in Lord of the Rings so many times. You think the light of the Silmarils, when Frodo is in the cave against Shelob, what does he do? Is he holds up Galadriel's light. And what better way to represent that light than a boy soprano? And then as we approach the end of this epic story, guess what comes back? The boy sopranos. So as the men of Gondor and Rohan and Gandalf, Gimli, Legolas, Aragorn, and a few other folks take a final stand against Mordor in this darkness, this, I don't think we have any hope, there's a beacon, a sliver of light that comes through. So listen to what happens when the eagles, they show up. It's hope. It's a different theme this time. Now we have... we get a new theme. It's no longer the Shire theme. It's a different theme. But the boy soprano, again, it's representing hope. I love the ending of this trilogy for many reasons, but musically, it just takes it over the edge for me. So we have the boy sopranos representing hope and that bright white light and almost that otherworldly Istar Gandalf kind of vibe. He's a wizard, so he's not really from this earth. But there's still some things that have to be done. We have to destroy the ring. We have to destroy quite a few enemies. You know, there's a lot of lava and darkness and not a lot of good stuff happening right now, but there's still hope. So what does Howard Shore do? He gives us a full choral texture. So now we get the basses and the tenors and the altos and more sopranos to fill out that texture, just to show us that yes, there's hope, but there's still a lot we have to do. Yes, so there's a triumphant choral sound because finally we've made it to Mount Doom. This has been our goal the entire story, to get to Mount Doom. But there's some dissonance in there. It's not quite so heavenly and perfect and ethereal. There's some dissonance in there because there's some darkness coming. And this is why for me, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is so good, because the music makes sense and it just hits us somewhere in the body, so we feel. We don't just hear it, but we're feeling. As we watch this movie, we understand that Sam is going in there, which is a big moment. He's finally done it, but there's some dissonance in there to show that he might not make it out alive. So now Howard Shore is meshing the darkness with the light, and we're just feeling it everywhere. It's an absolute masterclass in theme writing and orchestration and a perfect use of the boy soprano voice. I'm sure there are a few instances within the trilogy where he used the boy soprano voice that I missed. If that's the case, put them down in the comment section, as well as your thoughts, opinions, questions, and concerns. I would absolutely love to read them. Thank you so much for watching this video. Check out my Patreon for bonus coverage, for extended videos, and to support me as a creator. It would mean the world to me. The link is in the description. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.